our topic is about environmental racism. Environmental racism happens when communities of color are more likely to live near pollution, highways, toxic waste sites, and other environmental hazards. This is not something that happened by chance or coincidence. It is a result of years of discrimination in housing, government policy, and city planning. These decisions have caused certain communities to experience worse living conditions while others are protected. Environmental racism is important to talk about because where someone lives should not determine their health or quality of life. One major cause of environmental racism is a practice called redlining. In the past, banks and the government marked neighborhoods where people of color lived as high risk, which made it very difficult for these families to get loans or even move into safer areas. Because of this, many families of color were forced to stay in neighborhoods that had fewer resources and less political power. Over time, factories, highways, and waste facilities were built near these neighborhoods because they were seen as less valuable. Even though redlining is now illegal, the effects of it still exist today, and many communities remain trapped in polluted areas. Living near pollution has serious health effects. People in these communities are more likely to suffer from asthma, breathing problems, heart disease, and even cancer. Children are especially affected because their bodies are still developing. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, communities of color are exposed to higher levels of air pollution than white communities. This means that simply breathing the air or drinking the water can cause long-term health problems. These health issues can follow people for their entire lives. Environmental racism matters because it affects every part of a person's life. When children are sick more often, they miss school days and struggle to keep up with their education. Families may spend more time on medical care and money instead of saving for college or housing. Poor health can also limit job opportunities and lower overall quality of life. These problems create a cycle where communities remain disadvantaged for generations. Environmental racism is not just an environmental issue, it is a social justice and civil rights issue. There are ways to reduce environmental racism. One solution is stronger environmental laws that prevent companies from placing harmful facilities in your residential neighborhoods. The government should also invest in clean energy, safer housing, and better transportation in affected communities. Another important solution is including community members in decision making. When people who are directly affected have a voice, policies are more likely to meet their needs. Addressing environmental racism helps create healthier communities and more equality.
What is environmental racism? Environmental racism happens when communities of color are exposed to high levels of pollution compared to wealthier or mostly white neighborhoods. This often occurs because factories, major highways, landfills, and toxic waste sites are placed closer to these communities, which leads to poor air and water quality. As a result, people living in these areas face greater health risks such as asthma, heart disease, and other long-term illnesses. This issue is not accidental. It is directly connected to historical discrimination, including redlining and segregation. In the past, redlining prevented many families of color from buying homes in safer, cleaner neighborhoods. Because these communities had less political power and fewer resources, they were more likely to be targeted for harmful industrial development. Even today, the effects of these policies continue to shape where pollution is concentrated and who is most affected by environmental hazards. A few solutions. Stronger environmental protection laws can help keep neighborhoods safe by limiting pollution from factories and waste sites. When these laws are enforced, companies are forced to follow rules and protect people's health and the environment. Investing in clean energy and safe housing also makes a big difference. Clean energy like solar and wind power reduces pollution in the air. Safe housing helps families avoid health problems caused by toxic materials and poor living conditions. It is also important to include affected communities in decision making. The people who live in these neighborhoods know the problems best. When they are given a voice, better and fairer solutions can be created. Health impacts. Communities affected by environmental racism have higher rates of asthma and breathing problems because of polluted air. Long-term exposure to pollution also increases the risk of heart diseases and cancer. Children in these areas often miss more school due to health issues, which can hurt their learning and future opportunities. Overall, environmental racism is a serious problem, but it is something that can be reduced if people are aware of it and take action. No community should have to deal with more pollution just because of their race or where they live. Everyone deserves clean air, safe water, and a healthy place to live. By speaking up and supporting better laws, we can help make neighborhoods safer for everyone. Thank you.